You're still watching the special coverage of the Vice President's campaign tour. We'll take you back to our colleague on the field, Abna, who actually has somebody, because we want to get everything happening in Ekropong. So let's go back to the field and interact with our friend there, our colleague, Abna. Hi, Abna.
I have with me Reverend Andrew Nyako, who is the head pastor for the Word Empowerment Prayer Ministry. Hello, Reverend. Good morning. Good morning. Reverend, what are your expectations ahead of this meeting with the flag-bearer of the Npp?
Well, thank you very much for the question. For the past 67 years now, the clergy has been much more important to the development and the ability of this nation. And therefore, what we are expecting today is that words that will bring development to this nation, we expect much more from the incoming president. Well, I'm going to be from that. And I know that once the clergy is support, everything is ready.
Thank you. So you are looking forward to words of development. All right. Beyond the words of development, what does it mean to you as a head pastor heading a whole congregation that we have a president who is on the tangent of development?
Yes, we are expecting development in all areas of this nation, educational-wise, religious-wise, everywhere. We are having some kinds of problems in many areas of the country, and therefore, if those problems will be solved, then the people in the nation are going to be much more happy, and that's what we expect, because God needs development from us, and He's ready to support us in that area. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Pastor. Pastor is looking forward to a communication that will drive development. Great. Pastor, we'll come back to you. Epifania, we'll come back and take more from Pastor. But like you told our viewers, you live from the great congregation of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana in Ekropong, where the flag-bearer of the Npp, Dr. Bawumia, is meeting religious leaders. We'll be coming to you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Abna.
The time has now come for me to speak to you, the good people of Ghana, about my candidature, what we have experienced as a nation, my vision and priorities, and why I believe I am the best candidate for the presidency of this country. The choice Ghanaians face in 2024 is between Vice President Bawumia and former President Maham. It is fundamentally a choice between the future and the past. We have to ask ourselves a number of questions in making that choice. If you want someone you can trust to come up with innovative and impactful ideas to transform Ghana, then it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want someone with personal integrity who can be trusted to fight corruption, then your choice is Dr. Bawumia.
News Ghana. Let me remind you that that was the Vice President's inaugural national address after he was elected as the flag bearer. We're still going back to Ekropong, the Presbyterian Grace Chapel, to talk to Abna, where she is live on the location, and to get the reaction of the people who are there. Hello, Abna. Okay. So I believe you already spoke to one clergyman. We're having a bit of connection issues. We'll still stay in touch with our colleague in Ekropong.
If you want someone you can trust to work hard and tirelessly and selflessly for Ghana, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want a leader who has a proven record and who you can trust to create jobs for the youth, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want a man or woman, in this case, we are two main men here. If you want a man to trust to take care of the poor, disabled, and the vulnerable, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you are looking for the man who has the vision and commitment to prepare Ghana for the fourth industrial revolution, then it is Dr. Bawumia. If you are looking for the man who is more committed to protecting and using our natural resources for the benefit of all Ghanaians, it is Dr. Bawumia. Who will be more accountable to Ghanaians? A one-term president like my competitor, or a person who can look to the long-term development of Ghana because he can have 2 terms? It is Dr. Bawumia. Who can you trust to protect and improve free senior high school education? It is Dr. Bawumia. Who can you trust to improve the national health insurance scheme and improve the quality of health care in Ghana? It is Dr. Bawumia, who has demonstrated a commitment to the development of deprived communities like the Zongo communities. It is Dr. Bawumia. Ladies and gentlemen, many people have said that I am the most impactful vice president in Ghana since independence. I do not intend to compare what I have achieved as vice president under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to that of a vice president who could not perhaps make a mark. I would let you be the judge of that. But I can say that I have never been president of this country before. I am presenting myself to you for the first time to ask for your precious vote to serve you as your president. In all humility, I would like you to give me the opportunity to become one of the most impactful presidents in Ghana's history. I have outlined many far-reaching measures in this speech. These are measures that should put us on the right path and transform our economy. I know that many of us might be tempted to say that we have heard many bright and even brave ideas before, and that will be true. Many will say the problem we have is not lack of ideas, but implementation.
There to pick his feet.
When it comes to the technical aspects,
There's no sound.
Campaign engagements, and I have deliberately decided to have a meeting with my religious leaders before meeting anyone or any other group of persons. I took this decision because of my faith in the Lord. Because my faith in the Lord tells me that if we focus on Him first, all other things will come together to us as a bonus. More importantly, we are told by the scriptures that unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. So today, I am here with you. First, and I am sure you will bless me with your many blessings. I am here today to present myself to you first as the flag bearer and presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party for the 2024 elections. Secondly, I am here to share with you my dreams and vision for our dear country, Ghana, drawing on the successes we have made so far. And thirdly, in humility and respect to and that of all of those who could influence. Distinguished clergy, ladies and gentlemen, coming here to meet you, I am very much in tune with the responsibility on you as religious leaders to teach and show your congregations the difference between that which is good and bad. I know that your spiritual orientation and gift of discernment There are things that ordinary eyes and minds cannot comprehend that you can decipher with ease. It is therefore imperative that we lead the way and the charge for proper judgment. God has really blessed Ghana in every facet of our religious making. Recently, I had the honor to visit Pope Francis at the Vatican and had the privilege to engage some other cardinals. It was obvious that the level of religious tolerance and acceptance we have in Ghana has caught the attention of many others outside our borders. In fact, this, coupled with the natural Ghanaian appetite for peace, are the cornerstones of the stability and peace we enjoy currently. We have every duty and responsibility to guard this jealously for now and the future. It behoves on us, therefore, that everything we do must be geared towards fostering national unity and peaceful coexistence. We are humans, and so we may have differences in terms of our background, religion, ethnicity, football preferences, politics, and so on. This is normal. We must at all material moments ensure that in our differences we should be indivisible. Sometimes the way we run our politics gives rise to some tensions and a feeling that we are not united. But I want to charge all of us here to recognize one thing first, that we are Ghanaians before politics, and for that matter, MPP and NDC came to meet us as Ghanaians. We will still be Ghanaians, and as politicians, we will go, but the country Ghana will still be Ghana. Maintaining the peace and unity we have also means that we make decisions and judgments on our leaders, be it selection of bishops, apostles, imams, chiefs, politicians, based on competence, track record, and a person's vision, rather than ethnicity, gender, religion, or age. This will mean that we see each other as equal and the same. It will mean recognizing that God has a purpose for each one of us and can use any one of us to cause a change in the lives of his people. Both the Bible and the Quran and our individual life experiences tells us of the many people God called from smaller groups or lesser known places to bring freedom and development to his people. The God that we serve has loved us and showed us mercy, just as we are, without discrimination. And just as he loved us, so must we love our fellow neighbors. We are reminded of the need to recognize that we are one people, and God can use anyone to cause change in a society. My whole life, and by divine providence, I should say, has navigated a certain path in life that has brought me to respect any person, regardless of background, religion, ethnicity, and so on. I was born and raised in a family of 17. That is my father's children.
Out of this, 9 of us are Christian and 8 of us are Muslims. Myself, I was at one point when I was growing up a member of the Methodist Boys Brigade. And currently, I am a patron of the Methodist Boys Brigade of Ghana. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that has been the beauty of Ghana's religious architecture. And I don't see this getting disrupted in any way. As a people, we should rather be more concerned about getting leaders who have the dignity and integrity to lead. My life as a respectful, humble, obedient, and peace-loving person is a testament to everyone. I was this as a young boy and the same in adulthood. And politics and position have not changed me. I pledge to be the same and even do more. I want Ghanaians to give me a chance to lead as president, judging from what I have been able to do as a person from the Bank of Ghana and as vice president, and the strong vision I have for this country. I am in public life and politics to serve, because I believe to lead is to serve. Distinguished clergy, ladies and gentlemen, we have an election in December 2024, and I am one of 2 major candidates. And I want to give you, in the next portion of my remarks, the reasons why you should support me to be President of the Republic of Ghana. I will summarize or speak about why I should be president, or you should support me to be president, for about 6 or 7 reasons. The first reason I will speak about is the fact that since we have been in government as a New Patriotic Party government under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, our government has performed better in virtually every sector than the government of my main opponent when he was president. So we have performance to speak about. And I can also say in all humility, and the data will show, that I have been vice president and my main opponent has been vice president, but my performance as vice president is superior to his performance as vice president. I will also speak on my vision, and I will tell you that I have a compelling vision for the people of Ghana, and that is why you should make me the president. I will also talk about my record in fighting corruption, and that is why I believe I have a superior record in fighting corruption. And I will speak about accountability and the fact that if you make me president, I will be more accountable to the people of Ghana. So why do I say that we have performed better as a government? The data says so. It is not me who says so. I believe in data and I work with data. The data tells me that since we've been in office over the last 7 years, we have created 2.1 million jobs. 975,000 in the private sector and 1.2 million in the public sector. 2.1 million jobs in 7 years. That is more than any government in the Fourth Republic. And even though we still have more jobs to create, I believe that this puts us in a very good position to do more. We have constructed more roads than any other government in the Fourth Republic, even though we still have many more roads to construct. We have constructed more interchanges and bridges than any other government. We have constructed more airports than any other government, more railways than any other government, more classrooms than any other government. We have built more fish landing sites than any other government, more sports facilities than any other government, more sanitation facilities than any other government, more courts, 80 courts completed, more courts for the judiciary than any other government, and more vehicles and equipment for the armed forces and the police than any other government. Beyond infrastructure, the eminent clergy, our government has implemented many transformational policies for the first time in our history as a country. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in our history, Ghana has successfully issued a digital national ID card, the Ghana card, which has provided a unique identity for all Ghanaians. No other government has been able to do that. For the first time in our history, Ghana has a digital address system. You can find anywhere in Ghana without having to ask for directions. This is the first time we have done that. For the first time in our history, Ghana has implemented a mobile money interoperability between the Momo accounts of telcos and the bank accounts of the bank. And Ghana is the first country in the whole of Africa to have done this mobile money interoperability between bank accounts and Momo accounts. And this has made Ghana the fastest growing mobile money market in Africa. In fact, when we came into office, mobile money transactions in Ghana were just 78 billion Ghana cedis a year. Last year, they reached 1.9 trillion Ghana cedis. It tells you what we have done. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in our history, Ghana is now #1 in the whole of Africa in terms of access to financial inclusion. Anybody in Ghana can open a bank account if you have a Ghana card, or you can also have a mobile money account which works like a bank account. For the first time in our history, over 80% of adults in Ghana have a tax identification number. When we came into office, identification number, but we made the Ghana card number the tax identification number, and immediately we did that, we increased it from 4% to 85%. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in our history, Ghana is using drones for the delivery of medicines and blood to remote communities, including the Afram Plains, Afajatu South, Yagaba-Kubori, so many places in Ghana. And Ghana now, it has the largest medical drone delivery service in the whole world. The largest in the whole world. Recently, I'll tell you this, recently, the zipline company came and took a Ghanaian from here to San Francisco to lead a team on drones in San Francisco. That is something that is world class. We are the leading country in the world. For the first time in our history, people can buy electricity units on their mobile phone. We take it for granted now, but a few years ago, you had to go and queue at the ECG payment to buy the electricity. For the first time in our history, we are implementing one district, one factory. For the first time in our history, we have paperless ports. We have digitalized passport acquisition, and you can apply for passports from home on your mobile phone or computer. For the first time in our history, we've implemented the Ghana.gov platform and onboarded 1,018 MMDAs, and you can obtain many services on the Ghana.gov platform. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians can renew their NHIS membership from their mobile phones. You no longer have to go and queue. And for the first time in our history, Ghanaian students can apply for student loans with their Ghana card. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians and law enforcement officers can find out the insurance status of any vehicle on their mobile phone using the motor insurance database. And we have, for the first time in our history, provided free Wi-Fi to most senior high schools, the 42 colleges of education, and the 13 public universities. For the first time in our history, pensioners can obtain their SNP pension just 10 days after application. And we have, for the first time in our history, implemented a nationwide e-pharmacy. We are one of the few countries in the world to have a nationwide e-pharmacy platform. And we are also networking all the hospitals for the first time in our history on a common digital platform, so that manual records become a thing of the past. So that today, if you are transferred from one regional hospital to another, from Tamale to Kolebu, you do not need your manual file anymore. Once you come to Kolebu, give them your ID number, they will enter it, and all your data will come. For the first time in our history, Ghana is implementing one district, one hospital under Agenda 111, and all districts will have hospitals. For the first time in our history, government has established a Zongo Development Fund, and we have implemented over 200 projects in Zongo communities across the country. For the first time in our history, we are getting childhood cancers, which are now being covered by the NHIS. And for the first time in our history, we are implementing a world-class STEM education system focused on schools. And we have also established the first girls' STEM school in Ghana. For the first time in our history, we are implementing free TVET, and 65,000 students in 139 schools have benefited. And we have established the Ghana TVET service. We've also made the highest investment in TVET in our history. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, for the first time in our history, also implemented the free senior high school education in Ghana. And this has increased enrollment from 800,000 to 1.4 million students and brought gender parity. We are also implementing one student, one tablet in the senior high schools. So if you look at this performance, this performance that I have just told you about in terms of infrastructure all over the country. In the eastern region, we have completed 1,420 infrastructure projects in the last 7 years alone. And we are doing that across the country, in every region. The data is very clear. So why we should continue with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is that we have performed better than the opponent who is seeking to come back. We have. The second reason, eminent clergy, distinguished ulama, the second reason why I am pleading and praying that you support me is that Ghana needs problem solvers, generational thinkers, and people with innovative ideas. That is what we need now. Problem solvers, generational thinkers, and people with innovative ideas. In all humility, I am a problem solver and a generational thinker, and I have innovative ideas. And I have a solid track record as Vice President to prove it. Since I became Vice President, under the authority of the President, I have championed and initiated a number of policies as Vice President. These include the issuance of the Ghana card. The Ghana card as a travel document. Today, if you travel abroad and your passport gets lost, you can take a Ghana card and board a plane and come back to Ghana. Because we have brought it under the ICAO system. It has been certified. Today, when a child is born, their Ghana card number and their birth certificate number will be issued to them at the hospital. They don't have to go to the births and deaths to apply. Just as it's happening in Abrochiri, that is how it's going to happen in Ghana. Today, Ghana has a digital property address system. I was in Italy, I think last week, in Rome, and my driver was getting lost. And I was asking him whether they don't have a digital address system that they are using. He was surprised. But today in Ghana, if somebody gives you their digital address, you cannot get lost. Today, I was able to champion mobile money interoperability in Ghana. The Ghana card number, we have made it your TIN number, your NHIS number, and your SNIT number. Today, I was able to drive for us to have paperless ports, to digitalize the passport office, to have Ghana.gov, to have e-pharmacy, to bring zip-line drones for the delivery of medicines, to have no guarantor student loans. I initiated the policy for one constituency, one ambulance. I initiated the policy for Agenda 111, Sino-Hydro barter agreement, the provision of hydroxyurea for sickle cell patients under the NHIS, initiated Zongo Development Fund, the gold for oil policy, the system to tackle ghost names at the Controller and Accountant General, automation of the pre-mixed fuel distribution, purchase of ECG credit on your mobile phone, renewal of NHIS on your mobile phone, the National Rental Assistance Scheme, and the digitalization of our networking of our hospitals and networking of our hospitals. I've also pushed for the one student, one tablet initiative. So these are over 30 policy initiatives that by the grace of God, as Vice President, I have been able to do. So, if as Vice President I'll be able to do all of this, then what will I be able to do if you give me the role of President of the Republic of Ghana? My main opponent, I've asked him this question and he has not yet answered. He should tell me and tell Ghanaians one policy initiative that he was able to bring to Ghana in his term as Vice President. Just one. And he still has not been able to answer that question. So that is the reason why I believe that if you give me the chance as President, I'll be able to do more and serve the people of Ghana. The third reason why I want you to support me is that I am a leader. And Ghana needs a leader who is committed to fight against corruption. I have a solid track record in this regard. And one of the main ways I have been able to impact the fight against corruption is through digitalization. I have now been able to lead the process of making sure there are no more ghost workers at the Controller and Accountant General Department on the government payroll. No more ghost workers, because everybody is uniquely identified by their fingerprints through the Ghana card. And ghosts cannot have fingerprints. So that is the end of the story for ghost workers. And we are saving a lot of money for government. We found 14,000 ghost workers at the National Service and over the same amount at the SNIT. Together, government is saving some 400 million Ghana cedis every year from removing those ghost workers from the payroll. We have made the ports paperless, and that has brought down corruption at the ports. We have made the DVLA digitalized, and that has brought down corruption there. We have digitalized passports, that has brought down corruption. Ghana.gov has brought down corruption as well. So I have a good record in fighting against corruption, and I can show the tangible benefits. So if you give me the chance, I will continue the fight that I have against corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, the other reason why I want you to support me to become president is that for me, if I become president, you give me the chance to become president, you will have accountability from me. This is because I have a potential 8-year term. It means I will come back to you to ask for a mandate to continue. If you give me that, I will come. My opponent, if you give him the opportunity, he has only 4 years. Once you vote for him, he doesn't have to come back. He will go for honeymoon and you won't see him again. So, for me, I will come back to ask for your vote. And you ask me, you said you will do this. What have you done? I have to be accountable to you. The other reason why I want you to support me is that I have a compelling vision for Ghana. I have a compelling vision. My vision for Ghana is predicated on possibilities. I believe Ghana can become a very advanced and prosperous country. I believe in possibilities. The good book tells us that with God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. So I'm never intimidated. I aim high and I pray to God and I work hard and I believe Ghana can get us there. We have to reduce the cost of living in this country. And if you look at the cost of living, you have the issue of food prices, transport prices, electricity prices. These are major elements of the cost of living. And how am I proposing to do that? I want us to attain food security through the application of technology and irrigation to commercial large-scale farming. I want Ghana's public transport to move towards electric vehicles. Electric vehicles means that we are not going to be using fuel. We are using the electricity to drive the vehicles. So today, anytime fuel prices go up, then GPRTU and so on, they'll increase the fares. But we are going to move public transport to electric vehicles. And we are in the process of making sure Metro Mass brings in the first 100 or 200 electric vehicles this year so that we can start the process and everybody will see how bringing the electric vehicles will reduce the cost, because those vehicles, they don't have spare parts and they don't use fuel, and we will reduce the price of transport, I am told, between 40 and 50%, and that will be a major reduction. We are also going to help people with rental of accommodation. The Minister for Housing is here. We are going to expand Works and Housing. We're going to expand the National Rental Assistance Scheme to assist those who don't have money to pay for rent advance. We have already begun the scheme. Of about 1,400 people have benefited from it, and we are going to expand it so that more people can just have the assistance to rent. We are going to diversify our power generation mix, and we are going to bring in at least 2,000 megawatts of solar power. We are going to move away from oil and gas more towards solar power. 2,000 megawatts of solar power will change the generation mix of Ghana and will bring down the cost of electricity for our households. We are therefore going to eliminate all import duty on solar panels coming into Ghana. We will encourage people to use solar in the electrification of their vehicles. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I also have the vision to empower the business sector, the private sector. That is where we can create more jobs. Less government, more private sector. That is the vision I am coming with. We are going to allow the private sector to build roads, to build schools, to build hospitals, and allow us to benefit and use government money for other things. The other day I was meeting with CHAS, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, and I was telling them, and they were very happy, that we are going to allow the private sector to build their dormitories, just as you are having the universities do, to build their dining halls, to build their classrooms, and government will rent them and pay the private sector over 15 years, and after that we will own those buildings. But for now, the private sector will build, rent them to government, we will pay, and government will use our money to do other things. And that will save a lot of money and bring a lot of solved problems, because you have too many uncompleted projects in our schools, and if the private sector comes in, all will be completed. All the vehicles will lease them instead of buying them, and therefore the private sector will provide. Every school will have its vehicle, and the government will pay the lease over the life of the vehicle. So it's a new system. It's a new vision that we are coming in. I'm also going to introduce a very simple, citizen-friendly and business-friendly flat tax regime. A flat tax is understandable to everybody. So it is a percentage of your income. if it is a 10% flat tax, everybody knows if you earn 1,000, you will pay 100. There's no argument about that. We need a simple flat tax system that will bring compliance. And for businesses, small businesses, which are 98% of businesses in Ghana, and individuals, we are all going onto a flat tax system that will make it very easy for everybody and will avoid the sort of problems that taxpayers have with the GRA. So you know exactly what you owe. And because we are moving to this flat tax system, we are going to start afresh. Everybody will have a clean slate from 2025. So I am going to introduce a tax amnesty for everybody so that we will start on a clean slate from 2025. In fact, when I went to the Vatican, I was told that 2025 is the Jubilee year. And that is the year where we forgive. And this is where we are going to cancel all taxes that are owed on 2025. And we will have a tax amnesty. Everybody will start on a clean slate. You pay your flat tax from 2025 going, and we are all going to benefit. It will make compliance easier, and government will get more tax revenue. We are also going to encourage more faceless audits by the GRA so that they wouldn't be visiting you at your offices, but you can do the audit from GRA electronically. Temaport will be fully automated. And I'm bringing a new policy for import duty. We are going to align the import duty at Temaport with the import duty at the Lome port. The ports in Ghana will not charge higher duty than the port in Lome. So that is a policy. We will not charge higher duty because they are our competitors. And if you are higher, all the containers will go to Lome and they will smuggle them into Ghana and you will lose the revenue. So we are going to make sure under the new policy, Lome and Ghana, we will be either lower or the same as Lome. That is the policy, and that will help our business people. No need for smuggling. We will push to make Ghana a pharmaceutical hub. The creative arts also and tourism will be totally encouraged. The application of digital technology, my vision is to make Ghana Africa's digital hub. And we are going to apply digital technology to fintech, agriculture, industry, and so on. In collaboration with the private sector, we will train at least 1 million youth in IT skills, including software development and coding, to provide the jobs for the youth worldwide. And we can train 1 million youth, and they don't need to have any serious qualification. Once they can read and write, we can train them to become IT specialists. And we are going to do 1 million youth and we are going to also recruit. I have a particular care for special education, and I want us to pay attention to special education in Ghana. We usually forget it, and so we are going to recruit 1,000 special education teachers and retrain teachers on how to work with students with special needs. I am going to refocus our paradigm for natural resource management. For the most part, Ghana has not maximized the benefits from our natural resources. Since the days of the Portuguese in the 15th century, gold has been taken out of Ghana and taken out of Ghana and taken out of Ghana. We haven't benefited that much from our natural resources. I am going to change that paradigm. I am going to bring a bigger focus on ownership of our natural resource. It's as if right now we don't own the natural resource. I believe that if we do the exploration, and we are going to empower our universities and the Geological Survey Department to do the exploration. Once we explore, and we have 7 gold belts, there's so much gold that we haven't yet even discovered. But once we explore, we know that the gold is here. The new policy is going to be that the ownership of those resources will be 100% owned by Ghanaians. 100%. We want, because if the gold is there, we can raise the money to exploit. And that is the new paradigm that we are coming with. We are also going to look at how to sanitize the small-scale mining sector. We want to formalize it and make sure that they do responsible mining, so that they will be given licenses and they will be required to mine according to their permits, so that they can't mine in water bodies or use chemicals that are not permitted. We believe that if we put a whole framework around the small-scale miners and they follow the regulations, the whole sector will be sanitized, and we will have many millionaires who are doing responsible small-scale mining in Ghana. We'll open new community mining schemes, and our TVET institutions will train miners in vocational and sustainable mining. I also intend, and very, very important, that to help the mining industry, we should establish, in collaboration with the private sector, a minerals development bank. Just as we have done for Agric Development Bank, we will have a minerals development bank to support the mining sector, so that when we discover the minerals, they can finance the exploitation of the minerals, and we keep the money in Ghana. So we will have a minerals development bank. These are just some of the ideas that I believe that if you support me, we will transform Ghana. I believe it is possible. My record as Vice President tells you that I am a doer, I am a problem solver, I am a generational thinker. I know that it's not everything that we have done. I want to tell the people of God in this room, the men and women of God, that I have a very, very, as I mentioned on February 7th when I spoke, I want us, government and the faith-based organizations, to have a very, very close relationship. I want us to have a close relationship. And I have said that if you look at the work that the faith-based organizations, the churches and so on have done for Ghana, it is more than many of our external development partners would ever do for Ghana. Much, much more. The schools they have built, the church, the hospitals they have built. But we always don't treat our faith-based organizations as partners in development. I want to bring a whole new chapter in the relationship between our churches, our faith-based Islamic organizations, and the government. I want to bring a golden age of that relationship between the church and the faith-based organizations and government. And that golden age means we are going to give incentives to the faith-based organizations to help government. There are a lot of incentives we give to our external development partners. They bring in things duty-free and so on. But they don't do as much for us as the faith-based organizations. I'm going to give a lot of incentives to the faith-based organizations to help government. And so, as I said, on February 7th, we're bringing in a golden age of a relationship between government and the faith-based organizations, and we will work together. I know that there are challenges, and I don't want to paper over our economic challenges. We are going to work on them. Currently, we have issues with power challenges, but I can say from the assurances I have received from the Minister for Energy that those power challenges will very soon, and I mean very soon, be a thing of the past. They are working at it, and I am very confident that this will go a long way to deal with it. But I say that I want your support. I'm come here to ask for your support. I want us to go to take Ghana to a different level. I believe with your support and by the grace of God, we can take Ghana to a different level. I believe in possibilities. With God, everything is possible, and Ghana will go to the promised land. Thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Oh, we can do better. We can do better, please. Let's continue to clap. Let's continue to clap. Yeah, Monsem. That was very powerful statement by our flag bearer and the leader of the party, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Penifua, na yetie no asumpem na bede yedu no penifua bema kwan na nsamfua a ye omampania bede etire akai penifua makwan ye
coverage of the official campaign tour of the flag bearer and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, we just heard him speak, and he has said a lot of things, literally giving us reasons why the populace should vote for him when they go to cast their vote on 7 December. We're just going to run you through a couple of things that he mentioned. We believe that social media is going to be our buzz with all these things that he has listed right here in Ekropon today. But let's go to the reasons why he said he should be voted into power. Now, he based them on performance. First off, he said performance. He believes that even as vice president, his performance is actually, it has outrun that of his contender, which is the former president, vice. Okay. Which. Okay. So let me go to the reasons that he listed as to why he should be voted into power. Now, for performance, he believes that the MPP in power has done so much way better than the NDC when they were in power. He believes his performance as a vice president is better than that of his opponents when he was a vice president. Now, he also believes strongly in his capabilities to fight corruption. He also says he has the track record to prove it. He said he will also be more accountable to the people of Ghana. Now, data available shows that 2.1 million jobs have actually been made in 7 years, more than any government have been able to create in the Fourth Republic. He also believes that he has what it takes. They've constructed more roads, more hospitals, more schools. I mean, when it comes to infrastructure, he believes the MPP have done so much more than the NDC has done in power. Okay, we're currently going straight to the field. My colleague Abna has the former MP for Suhum with her. Hello, Abna. Hello,
Epifani, I have with me the former MP of Suhum and also former Deputy Minister for Communications, Honorable Pare, and Honorable, you're welcome. The Flagbearer has said so many things, but before we go to that, what does it mean for the Eastern region and for the NPP for the Flagbearer to kickstart his campaign here?
Thank you very much. I believe that Eastern region has done very well for the MPP. Our last Flagbearer and the current sitting president comes from our region. And when you look also at our current campaign structure, our campaign chairman, Honorable Damboche, myself, and other key members of the campaign, we all come from this region. And we believe that the Eastern region is an integral part of the MPP's bid to win the 2024 election. So it is not for no reason that the campaign is being taken off from the Eastern region this morning.
So it's a very deliberate attempt. Okay, so Eastern region, you said it's for no reason that we are starting here. Are there some peculiar challenges that the region is facing that you are looking forward to the Flagbearer solving if he is voted come December 7th?
Well, I believe the campaign trail is not about really tackling and solving the problems on the spot. The party has been in power for the last 7 years. Luckily, the NDC candidate has also been in power for close to 5 years as president and then a little over 3 years as vice president. So there are comparative records, both with him as vice president to compare with what our vice president has done over the last 7 years, and also with him as president, what his administration was able to do or not do for us to be able to bring this into sharp focus. What we need to understand as a people is that we have a unique type of democracy that we are running. Unlike places like South Africa, Israel, and some places where they do a proportional representation, and so when you go on to the election, you see only the party flag and colors. That's what you're voting for, and whoever is leading that party then becomes the president of the nation. Here we are lucky, it is direct representation, and in choosing a president, we are also looking at a specific person who is leading the party. You can ask anybody who was there when Rawlings was president and when Atta Mills was president, and they will tell you, although these were two NDC administrations, they did see some differences in the way the country was governed. Even in the same second NDC, when Professor Mills was president and when John Mahama became president, again, there was clearly a difference in how the country was governed. So I'm sure that from the Kufuor era to the Nado era, you would see differences in how MPP also governed. And so clearly, Dr. Bawumia coming on board as a person to lead the party and the country will also have his own style and ideas and vision how he wants to move this country. And so it's important that in reaching a decision, Ghanaians actually look at the qualities, the vision these people carry and what they bring on board, and even their style of leadership is going to impact how they lead the country when they become presidents.
Okay, thank you very much. You're saying that different people, different styles of leadership. Recently, the Global Info Analytics released a poll, and based on the poll, it said that 60% of Ghanaians are placing the blame on Dr. Bawumia when it comes to how far or how down the economy has gone. Do you agree with them? And how does it bother the campaign team and even the flag bearer?
I believe that Dr. Bawumia has spoken and indicated that ours is a government of shared responsibilities and shared glory. And he has also gone on to explain how Ghana is not an island and gets impacted as it were by the global situation. I just came from a trip abroad, and I can tell you things that would have cost me like $100 in America. I go into a shop and come out and I've paid like $500 already. I've been to Nigeria earlier this week. A country like Nigeria that is actually producing oil. I saw people queuing to buy fuel. Their currency was even difficult to get. Things that we are taking for granted here. So amidst the global challenges, one would have expected that Ghana or Ghanaians would have been suffering by now, even beyond the measure that we are currently experiencing. But as it were, the government has been able to contain quite a number of these things, and we are at the level that we are. Dr. Bawumia has accepted whatever responsibility he has in government, and he said this is a shared responsibility. But beyond that, he's also put out his own vision of how he thinks how we can move the country forward when under his leadership.
Thank you so much, Honorable. This is Honorable Frederick Oparians, campaign manager for the Bawumia 2024 campaign, and he's thrown so much light on what it means for the NPP and for His Excellency Bawumia to lead the country come January 7th. I have with me the spokesperson for Dr. Bawumia, Dr. Gideon Bwako. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. How are you? You looking
right. Thank you so much. You're looking great. Yes. Thank you. This is ABC Ghana. Yes. Thank you so much. As a spokesperson, I know that you are called upon to answer so many questions on behalf of your boss. So much backlash is coming on him ahead of the polls, and so many people have a lot to say. What is Dr. Bawumia doing for Ghanaians, and what is he going to do for us if voted come December 7th?
Well, I think he's a politician, and so the issue about comments and questions that people have for him are normal, because you cannot be a president or vice president for 7 years and seek to continue your mandate or assume a different role as vice president and not expect that people ask you questions. So welcome those questions, and we have answers for all those questions. I think that if you listen to the vice president, he's having a meeting with the religious leaders, our clergymen, pastors, and then imams. And what is strikingly important about the presentation he made is a talk about unity and the need for us to see ourselves as one people in Ghana. He made a point that we may have our differences in terms of religion, ethnicity, football, team preferences and all of that. But in our differences, we should be seen as indivisible. And I like the statement that he made, that politics came to meet us as Ghanaians. Before NPP, before NDC, Ghana was Ghana, and therefore we need to ensure that we prioritize the nation Ghana first before anything. And prioritizing the nation Ghana, we need leaders who will carry a certain level of integrity, leaders who will walk their talk and not just talk on political platforms with platitudes and not be able to deliver. If you look at the persona of this President Bawumia and what he's been able to do as Vice President for himself and for the country Ghana, if indeed anybody wants to make fair judgment based on that, we should not second guess on who to become the next president of Ghana. Because this is a candidate who is competing against the main opponent, which is President John Mahama. President Mahama has had the opportunity to be vice president before, and he has had the opportunity to be president before. I want Ghanaians to sit back, reflect in their minds, and say that, okay, Mahama has been there before, vice president and president. Excuse me. What can we as a country use to remember President Mahama when he was the vice president? The accounts have a saying that Amfo and a children to us. And Onya Obayansu Yakashia de Wayebipe. So if indeed we have to make a choice between Bawumia and Mahama, the good thing is that both of them have had the opportunity to serve this country. One has had the opportunity to serve as vice president and president. one has had the opportunity to serve as vice president, not yet a president. You are unable to tell what is in the minds of people, and it will be difficult to judge what I will do tomorrow. But like Jesus Christ said, by their fruits ye shall know them. So it is only by what they have been able to do and accomplish in the past that we can make fair judgments as to what they will be able to do given the opportunity. And I am not saying this because I am with Bawumia, but every Ghanaian can attest to the fact that despite the challenges and the problems we have as a country, which is prevalent, or exists in every government, what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been able to help President Kufuor's government to deliver are so monumental that if anybody wants to make a decision between Mahama, the NDC and Bawumia, it is obvious to think that Bawumia has what it takes to lead us. There are people who say that Bawumia arguably has been the most impactful and the best vice president Ghana has had. That is what people say. And I believe so. That if you look at the plethora of things and initiatives that he has led that have brought relief to the Ghanaian people, they have not wiped up or wiped out the problems of the Ghanaian people. But you can see considerable impact through those initiatives that is brought to people. For me, it has been able to be described as the best vice president. Then it goes without saying that given the chance, he can be the best president Ghana can have.
Given a chance, he can be the best president of Ghana. Whilst he was speaking, he mentioned a few things that he plans on doing, some policies that he plans on implementing. One of them was that he was going to partner with faith-based organizations to broker development in the country, and that these partnerships will be as a result of incentives. What kind of incentives are we looking at?
So you see, we have development partners. These are development partners, USAID, DMID, all of that outside the country. What do we do for those development partners? What we do for them is that they bring their investment to the country, and when they are coming, they are given tax holidays. When they import stuff, they are given duty free and all of that. But I cannot think of a single development partner, international development partner, that has built more schools than the Roman Catholic Church has done. You understand? That has impacted the lives of the people that the Pentecost Church, the Assemblies of God Church, the Methodist Church. So if we see those as development partners and we give them all these incentives, Bawumia is saying, why can't we see our faith-based organizations also as development partners and treat them as such? You understand? So that you look at the Pentecost Church, you look at the Methodist Church, look at the Catholic Church, the Assemblies of God Church. I don't say that we are also, for instance, bringing materials to build this school. Because they are Ghanaians and the Ghanaian Church, we impose duties on them and taxes on them just as any other person. But those supposedly, so to speak, international development partners, when they are bringing same things, they don't pay it. So Bawumia said that we need to refocus, because these churches and faith-based organizations are doing even more than most of these are international development partners. So he wants to have that partnership with the faith-based organizations so that we can ease them to do more development for the nation.
Ease them to do more for the country. How do you think, before we even speak with our clergy and then other religious leaders, how do you think they are accepting or receiving this message?
I mean, what is in people's minds, you can tell. But of course, you can use telepathy, listen to people, watch people, and see whether they are taking your message or not. what is most important is that when we have a strong and compelling message, even those who do not want to listen will be compelled to listen. And being in the auditorium, I'm so excited. And if you listen to the comments that we have,
Well, that was Dr. Gideon Boako, the spokesperson for the Vice President you had Abna talking to. We'll still go back to them on the field. You're still watching ABC News Ghana. This is a special coverage of the official campaign tour of the flag bearer and Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, let's take you through a recap of some of the key things he mentioned. To begin with, he actually said the reason why he decided to meet the religious leaders first was because of his faith. And he actually wanted to establish a proper relationship with them. He believes that most of the religious organizations have actually done more for development in the country than any other organization. So he actually wants to make sure that they aid them with incentives to create what he calls the golden age relationship when it comes to the religious leaders here in the country. We're looking at how that is also going to go. Now, he also spoke about his performance. He listed some of the things he's done and how his track record puts him ahead of his opponents. And then he also mentioned how they've constructed more roads, schools, railways. When it comes to infrastructure, they've done so much more. He also spoke about innovation. I mean, how they've actually brought the largest drone delivery system to Ghana, how they use drones to deliver medicines and blood to remote areas, the ease in purchasing electricity via mobile application, passport application, which can now be done via mobile. Also, he mentioned that students can apply for students' loan using their Ghana card, and also the National E-Pharmacy Network. He also spoke about the digitalization of medical records to make it easy for you, because I mean, if you move to a different hospital, you should be able to have your records. It should be easy for the doctors to be able to access it. Also, he mentioned the One District, One Hospital. He also mentioned the Zongo Development Fund, which he initiated, and then also the first girls STEM school that has been created. And we'll be looking at the journey to the flag bearership sport. So we'll be taking you guys to that very soon. He also mentioned that Ghana needed problem solvers, generational thinkers with innovative ideas, which he has. He mentioned some of the innovative ideas he's already brought, the issuance of the Ghana card, with which you can actually board a plane back home. You find yourself and you don't have your passport, or you've misplaced your passport, you just have to use your Ghana card and you'll be able to come back to Ghana. He also mentioned the digital property address system, the mobile money interoperability, the zipline address, the drones. He also mentioned the no guarantor student loans, the e-pharmacy, the gold for oil policy, the automation of pre-mixed fuel policy, and the digitization of hospital network. These are different policies that he's brought, over 30 innovative policy initiatives that he has championed in his stead as a vice president. Now, the question he put to the populace is, if this is what he could do as a vice president, what do you think he can do when he's given the power as president? Now, he also went on to mention some of the innovative ideas that he hopes to be able to bring. Before we go on to that, I want to touch on the accountability issue that he mentioned. He said he has an 8-year term. He has the potential to come back to ask for another term. So because of that, we can hold him accountable for the things that he will do in the first term, as opposed opposed to his opponent who would not come back after the first term. Now, he has also mentioned that he's going to allow the private sector to build roads, schools, basically infrastructure, and government is going to rent these infrastructures from them instead of government having to go on and build. Because let's look at the number of uncompleted buildings, schools, infrastructure we have scattered across the nation. He wants to put a stop to that and ensure that government can save money. So they're going to let the private sector, it's going to be a collaboration. The private sector is going to do the building, they will do the renting, and then they can properly allocate funds and save money. Now, he also is going to introduce what he calls the 10% flat tax regime. Now, that is something that I know that people are going to go like, okay, is this possible? Because wait, he mentioned that he's going to bring a tax amnesty from 2025, like whatever you owe, 2025, cleared. We're all starting anew. And from then, it's going to be the 10% flat tax rate. So for whatever your salary is, you just be paying, or whatever you're doing, you'll be paying 10%, and that goes for everybody. This one is going to be very exciting for those in the financial sector. He also says there's going to be more faceless audits by the GRA, so they don't have to come to your offices and storm in and barging. No, we're going to try and make it more faceless. Now, Temaport will also be fully automated. Also, he's going to align the import duty at Tema to that of Lome, so that it can prevent or bring down smuggling. Because if the duty charges here in Tema Port are really high, people actually smuggle the goods through Lome. So he wants to prevent that, in fact curb it and put a stop to it. So he's going to align the duty with that at Lome. Also, the application of digital technology to various industries to make sure that Ghana becomes a digital hub. Now, there's going to be the training for 1,000 special needs teachers, because he feels it's an area that we do not necessarily focus on in Ghana. So this is something he's going to push and putting a lot of effort when he is elected as the president. Now, he's also going to refocus the paradigm of our natural resources to ensure that we do the exploration, and when we do it, it becomes 100% owned, because most of our natural resources, the control of it, the ownership goes to a lot of foreign organizations. So he wants to change that story and ensure that we own it 100%. He's also going to formalize the small-scale mining sector to ensure that they do mining the right way, and then also they can be able to save some money and not cause any harm to our natural resources. Now, he's going to establish, in collaboration with the private sector, what you call a mineral development bank, just like the agricultural development bank we currently have. He's going to have a mineral development bank. These are some great ideas that he's listed out here. I know people have a lot of questions, and we all want to see how he's going to go about all of this, but these are just highlights of his speech that he just gave at the Presbyterian Grace Chapel, Ekropong. We still have Abna on field, and we'll be going shortly to her. Okay, I told you we'll be running through his journey to becoming the flag bearer. We're going to look at let's just go through it. The key events that has led to this point, that he started his campaign today.
have come to bear witness to the candidate who is being inaugurated today. I have always seen him as a man of destiny. When I first saw him, and that was about 2002, he was just a research assistant to the governor of the Central Bank, and in faraway London. This young man delivered a paper at an international conference of giants from the city of London, the financial world, and some very powerful people of government. And immediately he finished his address, he was going to sit down, but there was something in his statement and about him. I don't know what came in me. Prophetically, I told him, carry on like that and you'll go far. I'm appealing to the whole nation to give him the chance to come. I have a feeling, I have a very strong feeling, he is truly the man of the moment and Ghana must accept him. So this is it. Thank you very much.
My own core values: integrity, honesty, discipline, hard work, and inclusivity. My can-do attitude, my rejection of the tag of impossibility, my passion to unleash the creative energies of the youth, my compassion for the poor and vulnerable. All of these align perfectly with the values with which our forebears created this political tradition. So, to the NPP rank and file, I wish to say to you, today you have placed your trust in me. I shall not disappoint you. Ghana has given me everything, every opportunity and grace. I have dedicated my life to give back and to serve this wonderful country to the best of my ability with every breath in my body. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have my own vision and my own priorities. Given the opportunity by you, the people of Ghana, to lead, I shall govern as my own man with guidance from God Almighty. My vision is to build an inclusive, food self-sufficient, data-driven, and systems-based nation that will fully participate in the global digital revolution to resolve our problems and also to usher in a golden age of benefits from our natural resources. I want to lead a nation that improves and unleashes the talents of our youth and offers good jobs with good pay and sustainable growth with macroeconomic discipline. I thank our friends from the media for their massive coverage of the entire process. The NPP and I are grateful for your partnership. I'm also immeasurably grateful to the traditional rulers, the clergy, and the ulama for their prayers and encouragement and wise counsel over the years. I thank all of you who have gathered here and those who are listening and watching from afar. It is indeed possible. God bless you. God bless the NPP. And God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. Thank you very much.
The time has now come for me to speak to you, the good people of Ghana, about my candidature, what we have experienced as a nation, my vision and priorities, and why I believe I am the best candidate for the presidency of this country. The choice Ghanaians face in 2024 is between Vice President Bawumia and former President Mahama. It is fundamentally a choice between the future and the past. We have to ask ourselves a number of questions in making that choice. If you want someone you can trust to come up with innovative and impactful ideas to transform Ghana, then it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want someone with personal integrity who can be trusted to fight corruption, then your choice is Dr. Bawumia. If you want someone you can trust to work hard and tirelessly and selflessly for Ghana, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want a leader who has a proven record and who you can trust to create jobs for the youth, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want a man or a woman, in this case, we are two main men here. If you want a man to trust to take care of the poor, disabled, and the vulnerable, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you are looking for the man who has the vision and commitment to prepare Ghana for the fourth industrial revolution, then it is Dr. Bawumia. If you are looking for the man who is more committed to protecting and using our natural resources for the benefit of all Ghanaians, it is Dr. Bawumia. Who will be more accountable to Ghanaians? A one-term president like my competitor, or a person who can look to the long-term development of Ghana because he can have 2 terms? It is Dr. Bawumia. Who can you trust to protect and improve free senior high school education? It is Dr. Bawumia. Who can you trust to improve the National Health Insurance Scheme and improve the quality of health care in Ghana? It is Dr. Bawumia, who has demonstrated a commitment to the development of deprived communities like the Zongo communities. It is Dr. Bawumia.
And we're still covering this. This is a special coverage of the official campaign tour of the Flagbearer and Vice President. Let's go straight to the field where Abna is on standby. Abna, hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Epiphania.
So how is it? I mean, the Vice President has just finished giving his address and you've already spoken to his spokesperson. We've heard them they've shared a lot of things and how optimistic they are about people's reception to the address. But what's currently happening on the ground right now?
Well, it's an exciting atmosphere here. There are lots of people, not just the clergy or the faith-based organization leaders. There are a lot of people here, and it's an exciting place. There's a brass band playing, and people are relatively very relaxed here. So if you want to know the feeling, the atmosphere here, this is how it is. The Vice President said something about creating an incentive, an initiative for faith-based organizations when voted into power.
Yeah.
We spoke to the spokesperson of the flag bearer, and he mentioned that we have so many organizations that partner with Ghana, the USAID and so many other organizations. They get incentives, but he does not see any of them doing something more than the faith-based organizations doing for us as a country. He made mention of a number of churches and how much they have added to the infrastructure of the nation. So saying that if the vice president or the flag bearer, when voted into power, partners with these faith-based organizations, he's going to give them incentives. It means that he's going to lessen their load. He's going to lessen the burdens on their back to make sure that they can provide more, they can do more for the country than they already are doing. So this is one of the things I think, and this is a takeaway for everybody from this meeting between the flag bearer and the leaders of the faith-based organizations.
Okay, so do you believe in any way that this particular golden age relationship that he wants to create is going to in any way influence the decision of the religious organizations or religious bodies here when it comes to voting? I
have a pastor here. Maybe he'll be, yes, we have a pastor here and he'll be the best to answer that. Dr. Gideon Bwako said that indeed you cannot know what people are thinking, but from his experience or judging from the expressions on the faces of the people inside, he saw that they were optimistic and receptive of what the flag bearer was saying. But I have with me a pastor, Reverend Andrew Nyako, who is the head pastor for the Word Empowerment Prayer Ministry here in Mampong, Equiapim, and we'll talk to him. Pastor, you listen to the flag bearer of the NPP, who is also the vice president of the nation. He said a lot of things. What is your take home from his speech today?
Well, thank you very much. When you listen to the vice president, you realize that he mentioned a lot of things, especially when he said that he's going to give incentives to the churches. And I was much more impressed because the churches are doing amazing. I mean, we're creating jobs and then building schools and hospitals and other things. And so it's a blessing when I hear that. Not only that, he also made mention of he being a problem solver. And I was much more happy when he said that, because we need problem solvers in the nation. Leaders that will solve the problems of our jobs. I mean, people, the poor and then the middle class, most of them don't have jobs. And so he coming to tell us that he's going to create more jobs, it's just a blessing. And as a matter of fact, with the address that he gave, I mean, he said everything, because he touched many areas of our nation. In our university, in our educations, I mean, when you look at the free feeding program, it's amazing. And he's not going to stop. He's going to continue with that, and that is a blessing. And he's also going to look at the port, and looking at many areas. And I was much impressed. Thank you very much.
Pastor Nyako says he is much impressed with the address of the flag bearer of the NPP. Moving forward, Pastor, are there certain things that you are looking forward to seeing between now and elections that, of course, he is the vice president, so his party is still in power? Are there some things you are looking forward to seeing him do before we go to the polls?
Well, for now, you know, he has a lot in mind. I know that there's going to be a manifestation of what he's saying. And so for now, I would say that whatever plans that he has, he should begin now. I mean, there must be a manifestation. We have to see something visible. Right? We have to see this. I talk to people outside the nation, and sometimes they want to send me something like a car. But when they look at the cost and how much of money I'm going to spend at the port, they tell me that I mean it's not really on point, and so they stop. So for now, I would say that if only he can reduce the cost there, it's going to be a blessing before even the election. It's going to be a blessing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pastor. This is Pastor Andrew Nyako, the head pastor for Word Empowerment Prayer Ministry. So there you have it, Epiphania. You have heard the opinion of one of the clergymen here.
Thank you, Abna. Thank you so much. Well, if we're going to use what he has said as a meter, then it means that the Vice President's message has been well received. I'm sure you still keep us updated on what is happening currently. And
I will. I'll be coming with more of the leaders of the faith-based organization so that we will hear what they have.
But are they currently still asking questions?
You're welcome.
Are they currently still asking questions? Okay. You're still watching ABC News Ghana. We're bringing you the special coverage of the Vice President's campaign tour. Now, the road... The road leading to the December 7 polls is set for the man with his own vision to capture the heart and soul of voters with his campaign message, but without his running mate just yet. Let's assess the candidature of Dr. Bawumia and his impact on the pursuit of breaking the 8. Political marketer Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin joins us live. Hello, Doctor. Hello, Doctor. You're welcome to ABC News Ghana.
Hello. Please, the sound is very low. Hello.
Yes, Doctor. You're welcome to ABC News Ghana.
I can barely hear you. The sound is very low.
Hello, Doctor. You're welcome to ABC News Ghana.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Okay. What is your assessment of the presidential candidate, Dr. Bawumia, so far since his first campaign message in 2024?
Hello.
Hello, Doctor.
Please speak aloud there because the sound is not coming up clear.
Okay. We wanted to find out what is your assessment of the candidate, Dr. Bawumia, since his first message since 2024.
All right. My personal assessment of Dr. Bawumia is a candidate, who, is focused on his presidential ambition. And that notwithstanding, I think that the first day that he assumed office as vice president, he had his focus, setting out to do, the work for Ghana and serve Mother Ghana. And I also see him as someone who has that level of tenacity, who will not easily give up in whatever his dreams are. Third, I see him to be someone with that high level of intelligence, not just intelligence, but someone who has that analytical acumen and thinks, ahead of time. In other words, he seems to be that individual with so active mindset. I also see him to be hardworking and someone who is dedicated to the cause and development of this country, Ghana.
Okay. Well, the same way you mentioned that you see him as someone who thinks ahead of his time, we believe that Dr. Bawumia is obviously a man that needs no introduction, given his digitalization agenda. But in the context of elections, how well do you think the party can leverage his candidature?
I think that having qualities, is different from people benefiting from those qualities. And what I mean here is that you may have certain personal qualities, you may have certain skills, you may have, knowledge and all that. But the greatest importance has to do with the fact that they should be able to turn all these qualities and knowledge, skills, and competencies into the benefits of people. In other words, people getting certain benefits from it. So for me, I think that yes, as you mentioned about digitalization, is one of the, the turnarounds that, he has been able to bring into Ghana's developmental agenda. And that reflects in the fact that in spite of, his busy schedules and all the things that he does as a vice presidential candidate, you can't also take away from him the fact that he is very innovative. And it is one of the innovativeness, that has led to, this digitalization agenda. Don't forget that the oil, project, the oil for
Gold for oil?
Good for oil project, is also another proactive, measure that he actually brought, to bear on the fortunes of this country. But for that one, I think that like the economy of Ghana will be heading towards, danger. And I think that these two innovations, speak volume of who he is and the fact that, yes, you all agree to the fact that where Ghana is headed, we will need leaders with that kind of innovation, that kind of creativity, who will be able to think on their feet, going into Ghana's development. So I think that, yes, he's on course. And given the chance, I think that he probably would need to do more to contribute to, the development of this country.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, you mentioned the fact that for the Gold for Oil, but for the Gold for Oil initiative, the economy would have been headed for doom. Now, do you believe that with the right atmosphere, he's able to push through more? Because if that is just one out of over 30 initiatives that he's brought.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, probably, you see, you cannot be able to mention all achievements and all that. But the point still remains that if he's that kind of individual that Ghanaians are looking for, one with respect to his ability to think on his feet and react to problems or put in solutions that can one way or the other wrestle certain problems and then be able to solve it. Then of course he stands the chance of getting traction from Ghanaians. Again, you see, as a country, we are developing. And for me, our development has been slow paced. And for us to be able to run at a faster pace and be able to, catch up with other developing countries, what it means is that we will not just need presidents, but we will need presidents who will think outside the box. Some people will say, yes, thinking within the box. Yes, any of them, depending on where you are coming from. But I think that the combination of thinking within the box and thinking outside the box, is relevant, to where we are, especially with our economic, development agenda. And what I am trying to indicate is that, digitalization and Gold for Oil, are just two out of the many things that we need, going forward as a country. And so if he is going to be positioned as someone with that creativity, that person with innovative acumen, that person who can face problems head on and then bring solutions for the benefit of this country, then I think that yes, he stands a good chance of getting voters' attraction. But the key thing is how the party is able to model him and then present him, within this 6-7 months, that he will be going into the polls. All right. So if these things are, if the party is able to do that, and his strategic team is able to bring some of these things, communicate it well to the to Ghanaians, then of course I think that yes, probably the message will hit well with the people, and yes, we will benefit from it.
Okay, Doctor. Now, I want to find out, in the context of elections, how well do you think the party can leverage his seeming popularity in their pursuit to break the 8?
Oh yes, so as I indicated earlier, he has all the qualities. He has all it takes, to become the next president of Ghana. But the party may not leverage from it until they have been able to put him there, into the seat. That is when Ghana, and for that matter, the party and every Ghanaian, living in Ghana or abroad, will see who Dr. Bawumia is and what he brings to bear, into the history books of Ghana's presidency. All right. So for me, now it is about the campaign, and what it means is that the party must rally behind him. The party must set clear path. The party must communicate well. The party must be able to brand the candidate very well and position the candidate very well, so that once these things are done and he is able to, attract, support from Ghanaians, then of course the party can leverage and then possibly break the 8 going forward. So that is what should be done first. The party should be able to take the campaign seriously and be able to do all the strategic, things that they have to do. They should be able to put in place all the tactical, strategies that they will need, and they should be able to put resources, before him. Moving forward, I think that the way the party is communicating to its supporters and to Ghanaians is very crucial and relevant at this time, all right, because politics is about communication, not just about numbers. You only get the numbers when your communication is right. So if the party can communicate very well, then of course they are able to, the party can leverage on the qualities of Dr. Bawumia. But as I said, it is very important that, they look at who Dr. Bawumia is, his qualities, his knowledge, his performance as vice president, and all his achievements, and his vision particularly, the vision that he carries going into 2024 is very important for Ghanaians to be able to understand. Now, once these things are done, the party can now leverage and then be able to break the 8.
Okay, Doctor. Now, today actually marks the beginning of his nationwide campaign tour. Just how well do you think his campaign message will be received, given the fact that 60% of Ghanaians have accused of being the reason for the economic crisis? Is Bawumia the best bet for the ruling NPP to retain the seats?
I think that the card has been played already. As to whether the Bawumia is the best bet or not, that is what the NPP, that is the card that the NPP has played. And the most important thing is, as I said earlier, how to bring out this candidate and position him for promotion and for acceptance. Now, for me, I think that if we are talking about the accusations and counter accusations, leveled against, his candidature and all that, for me, that is not really an issue, for contention for now. The most important thing is that the team should focus on their campaign and deliver their campaign mandate. And I believe that, yes, he has started very well in the Eastern region. Eastern region is made up of 33 constituencies. And out of these constituencies, in the last election, NDC has actually picked 8 in terms of parliamentary candidates. And in terms of the presidential race, the NPP picked the majority. Now, what it means is that if it is only Dr. Bawumia who is going to get the votes from Eastern region, that is if the last election, the 2020 election, is anything to go by, then of course it means that the Eastern region figures, the NPP, even as records from 1996 will show. But then there are still swings, what we refer to as skirt and blouse, prominent in certain constituencies. I mean, in the last election, the 2020 election, we saw something like that. I think 3 constituencies voted massively for the president, but with the MPs, they actually swung their votes, moving from the NPP to the NDC. Now, what it means is that in his speech and in his communication, these constituencies are constituencies that he needs to articulate, the need for the constituency to be able to rally, behind him and his parliamentary candidates. And I think that, yes, if they are able to put up some good message out there, it will be good for the NPP. I think that with regards to the acceptance of his message, it will actually depend on the content of the message that he puts out there. And in this time and age, political communication is not about mass communication. It is actually something that has to do with adaptive communication. When I talk about adaptive communication, I'm talking about the fact that every constituency, every polling station, every ward has its own peculiar, needs. And so the team should be aware of these things and shouldn't bring problems in Accra into the problems of Eastern region. As you move from one constituency in Eastern region to another, take on particular message that the people or that will resonate with the people and their needs and their interests, so that you can actually attract them. But you don't pick national issues when it is actually not of relevance, to a particular constituency.
Well, I believe they actually addressed that because they said it was an issue-based campaign. So they're looking at bringing strategic decisions. They're looking at... Yes, doctor. Doctor.
Hello.
Hello, doctor. Hello, doctor.
Hello.
Hello, doctor. Can you hear me? Hello, doctor. Can you hear me? You're still watching ABC News Ghana. We're going on. I mentioned earlier that we'll be looking at Dr. Bawumia's journey till this day. Now, we're going to start with the special electoral college election. The results that took place actually August 26th, 2023. Now, we have the Npp presidential primaries results that came November 4th, 2023. So we'll take you through that journey. We still have our colleague Abna on the field. You're watching ABC News Ghana. We're bringing you everything as it's happening live at Ekropong here.
Time has now come for me to speak to you, the good people of Ghana, about my candidature, what we have experienced as a nation, my vision and priorities, and why I believe I am the best candidate for the presidency of this country. The choice Ghanaians face in 2024 is between Vice President Bawumia and former President Maham. It is fundamentally a choice between the future and the past. we have to ask ourselves a number of questions in making that choice. If you want someone you can trust to come up with innovative and impactful ideas to transform Ghana, then it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want someone with personal integrity who can be trusted to fight corruption, then your choice is Dr. Bawumia. If you want someone you can trust to work hard and tirelessly and selflessly for Ghana, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want a leader who has a proven record and who you can trust to create jobs for the youth, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you want a man or woman, in this case, we are two main men here. If you want a man to trust to take care of the poor, disabled, and the vulnerable, it is Dr. Bawumia. If you are looking for the man who has the vision and commitment to prepare Ghana for the fourth industrial revolution, then it is Dr. Bawumia. If you are looking for the man who is more committed to protecting and using our natural resources for the benefit of all Ghanaians, it is Dr. Bawumia. Who will be more accountable to Ghanaians? A one-term president like my competitor, or a person who can look to the long-term development of Ghana because he can have 2 terms? It is Dr. Bawumia. Who can you trust to protect and improve free senior high school education? It is Dr. Bawumia. Who can you trust to improve the National Health Insurance Scheme and improve the quality of health care in Ghana? It is Dr. Bawumia. Who has demonstrated a commitment to the development of deprived communities like the Zongo communities? It is Dr. Bawumia. Ladies and gentlemen, many people have said that I am the most impactful vice president in Ghana since independence. I do not intend to compare what I have achieved as vice president under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to that of a vice president who could not perhaps make a mark. I would let you be the judge of that. But I can say that I have never been president of this country before. I am presenting myself to you for the first time to ask for your precious vote to serve you as your president. In all humility, I would like you to give me the opportunity to become one of the most impactful presidents in Ghana's history. I have outlined many far-reaching measures in this speech. These are measures that should put us on the right path and transform our economy. I know that many of us might be tempted to say that we have heard many bright and even brave ideas before, and that will be true. Many will say the problem we have is not lack of ideas, but implementation. Many will say the problem is leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, I offer only what has guided me throughout my life: hard work, personal integrity, accountability, and selfless leadership. I am determined to make a difference, a positive difference. I will work for you and with you, with honesty and integrity, with wisdom and decisiveness. I have clarity in my mind as to what I want to do from day one if you make me president. I will not ask for a honeymoon to cool off and think about what to do. I am prepared and ready to work if you give me the opportunity. You know what I stand for. You know my vision. My vision is about your mission. I believe in the ingenuity of the Ghanaian. Together, we can succeed in building a progressive society of possibilities, enterprise, compassion, open opportunities, and a shared prosperity for every Ghanaian, born rich or poor, born from the north, from the south, born Christian or Muslim, a boy or a girl. With your support and prayers and God's guidance, we can win together. It is possible. Thank you for your attention. God bless you and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
My own core values: integrity, honesty, discipline, hard work, and inclusivity. My can-do attitude, my rejection of the tag of impossibility, my passion to unleash the creative energies of the youth, my compassion for the poor and vulnerable. All of these align perfectly with the values with which our forebears created this political tradition. So, to the NPP rank and file, I wish to say to you, today you have placed your trust in me. I shall not disappoint you. Ghana has given me everything, every opportunity and grace. I have dedicated my life to give back and to serve this wonderful country to the best of my ability with every breath in my body. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have my own vision and my own priorities. Given the opportunity by you, the people of Ghana, to lead, I shall govern as my own man with guidance from God Almighty. My vision is to build an inclusive, food self-sufficient, data-driven, and systems-based nation that will fully participate in the global digital revolution to resolve our problems and also to usher in a golden age of benefits from our natural resources. I want to lead a nation that improves and unleashes the talents of our youth and offers good jobs with good pay and sustainable growth with macroeconomic discipline. I thank our friends from the media for their massive coverage of the entire process. The NPP and I are grateful for your partnership. I'm also immeasurably grateful to the traditional rulers, the clergy, and the ulama for their prayers and encouragement and wise counsel over the years. I thank all of you who have gathered here and those who are listening and watching from afar. It is indeed possible. God bless you. God bless the NPP. And God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. Thank you very much.
I've always seen him as a man of destiny. When I first saw him, and that was about 2002, He was just research assistant to the governor of the central bank, and in faraway London. This young man delivered a paper at an international conference of giants from the city of London, the financial world, and some very powerful people of government. And immediately he finished his address, he was going to sit down, but there was something in his statement and about him. I don't know what came in me. Prophetically, I told him, carry on like that, and you'll go far. I'm appealing to the whole nation to give him the chance to come. I have a feeling, I have a very strong feeling, he is truly the man of the moment, and Ghana must accept him. So this is it. Thank you very much.
You're still watching ABC News Ghana. We're still bringing you the special coverage of the official campaign tour of the Npp Flagbearer and Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, you just heard the voice of former President J.A. Kufuor that was at the national address, the inaugural address of Dr. Bawumia. I told you earlier that we're going to look at the journey so far, the journey to the top. And we're going to actually start from the Special Electoral College election polls, where we had Joe Gate, Kennedy Japan, Kwabna Eje Japan, Kwejo Poku, Alan Tremantin, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Kofi Kunedu Apreku, Owusu Efriye Akoto, Edward Adai Nimo, and Boachi Ejako. Now, these were the 10 candidates that stood for the flag bearership of the New Patriotic Party, but that was filtered down to 5, where you had Alan Tremantin dropping out, and it left with 4 people. We had 4 for the NPP presidential primaries. We had Kennedy Japan, we had Owusu Efriye Akoto, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and Edward Adai Nimo. Now, Kennedy Japan, after the election, had 37.41% out of the total vote. Now, total votes were 7,001,991. We had Owusu Efriye Akoto having 0.76%. And we had Dr. Bawumia with 61.43%. And Edward Adai Nimo had 0.41%. Now, with this result, it was clear who the flag bearer was, and that was Dr. Bawumia. I want us to currently look at the Campaign Advisory Committee. On the Campaign Advisory Committee for Dr. Bawumia, we have His Excellency the former President John Agyekum Kufuor, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana. We have Honorable Frederick Blake. We have Reverend Joyce Ayi. We have Honorable Akosua Frema Osei Pare. We have Madame Elizabeth Ohene, and all members of the National Council of Elders. Now, moving on to the campaign management, we have Honorable Frederick Opare Ansa. He's the campaign manager. We have Dr. Antoinette Chibudako, the Deputy for Research and Administration. We have Honorable Osei Bonsu Amwa, Deputy for Parliamentary Campaign, and Dr. Ibrahim Anas, and he is the Deputy for Presidential Campaign. We're also moving on to the final one, and this is the Campaign Communications Directorate. This is the fire of the campaign. Everything you see, everything you hear goes through this part. Now, in charge, the Director of Communications is Mr. Dennis Edward Miracles Abuaje. We also have Mr. Yao Adomako Befi as the deputy, Mr. Akbar Koneni as the deputy, and Mr. Maxwell Krobia Kwabna Asante as the coordinator for social media. This is the journey so far to the top. This is his campaign team, and these are the people in charge of this show to make sure that Dr. Bawumia is elected into office come December 7th. You're still watching ABC News Ghana. We're bringing you the special coverage of the official campaign tour of Dr. Bawumia, who happens to be the flag bearer of the NPP and the vice president.